Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, everyone. Today it's Table Talk with Rita Felleh Arah, the CEO and founders of Daughters of Sierra Leone. Today we're discussing a very important issues in what's happening in our daily lives. Today we're going to be talking about family matters. And when we say family matters, a lot of things that are going on in families. So we have a topic today that we're going to be talking about the importance to know your genotype before getting married or have a child. So today here with me, I have some wonderful and beautiful guests here with me today. I would like for them to introduce themselves. So I will go with Reverend Fidelia that is joining us from Canada for her to introduce herself, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Reverend. I would like to call Keno for Keno to introduce herself, please.
Good evening or good day, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Keno Amagada. I am a registered nurse, and it is a pleasure to be here this evening with all of you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Keno. I will go right on. Rita, Dr. Rita, if you can please introduce yourself, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Rita Esdrim. I'm actually initially a registered nurse, then I came to the United States, acquired more knowledge to practice medicine, and right now I'm a medical provider here in Los Angeles County, California, and I also has like PhD in psychology, so I'm a psychologist as well. So I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rita. Thank you so much. I have with me here my beautiful sister joining us from Nigeria, Sister Ejiro. If you would love to introduce yourself, please.
Good evening from Nigeria. I am Ejirogene Eduguru, a journalist, and hoping to switch to data analytics. I have been living with sickle cell for 40 years.
Wow, thank you so much, my sister Ejiro, for introducing yourself. I would like to get the ball rolling. For those of you guys that are watching and wants to be part of this conversation, you can join from PROIB blog, and you can join as well on Bontu blog and on my personal platform, Rita Felleh Arah. So once again, I just want to thank you and happy Sunday to everyone. So we're gonna go right into the topic of the day. Why do you need to know your genotype before getting married? So I'm going to have my first speaker. Um, okay, let me welcome Samuel Omotosho. Samuel, can you hear me? Can you please introduce yourself, please?
Evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're listening. Yeah, sorry for coming late. I was actually struggling with the networks some minutes ago. Yeah, my name is Samuel Omotosho. I am an HR professional with Advanced Nigeria, and I work with Daughters of Sierra Leone as well. Ah, it's great to be here. Actually, my course of study made me so much interested in this topic. I'm a graduate of microbiology, so this topic is a topic of interest. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you. Thank you. So, we're going to jump right into it. Why do we need to know our genotype before getting married? So, I will throw the ball over to Dr. Rita to give us a little bit on that so people can know why they need to know their genotype before getting married.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So actually, this is a very interesting topic, and everyone of us, like every one of us, whether you're educated, you're not educated, I believe that you're supposed to know something, about this topic, because it's gonna benefit you or your children, even your grandkids, anybody around you that they don't have the knowledge. So, what is genotype? Genotype is also known as genetics, and they are found in an individual. Okay, so this is the what make up our blood groups. Our We have antigens, we have the genotype, we have the blood groups, and all of them work together. Okay, each and every human being, each and every one of us has that. So this genotype is very important for us to know our genotype before marriage, because this has led a lot of people to making like so many mistakes, having sickle cell kids, subjecting their kids into much suffering, much pain, much agony due to ignorance, or even some of them really know that it's not good to do that, but they still do it. Like in the case that that an AS is not supposed to be married to an AS, but because of love, they say, okay, we'll do that and it's going to help. Maybe they will pray for God to change their child's genotype after birth. But in some cases, that doesn't really work out. Okay. So it's very important for us to know that even before entering into a relationship, at the early stage of the relationship, before giving birth. And this will help us to be prepared on what we are getting ourselves into. Especially, okay, I'm gonna start like this. We have four types of genotypes. We have the AA that we call the regular genotype. Like a lot of people have AA genotype, and that is the best genotype. We have the AS. AS has traits of sickle cell, but they are not sickle cell individuals. We have the AC, and then we have the SS. The AC and the SS are the abnormal types, and they are the ones that when an individual has it, they have this problem, having this condition that we call sickle cell anemia. Okay, so in life, it's good for you to know your genotypes. Like an AA individual, being the general genotype that a lot of people have, they can marry anybody without any problem. But if you have AS, that is someone that has the sickle cell trait, marrying another AS, some of their kids will come out as sickle cell, whereby some will be normal, as normal kids. Then if you have the AC type, that is very uncommon. The AC one is very uncommon, but it's still found in some individuals. If you have the AC marrying SS, it's just sickle cell individuals that they're going to have. Everybody will have problem of being sick from sickle cell. So that is why it's very important for us to know. And I also want to describe what is sickle cell, because a lot of people might be hearing sickle cell, sickle cell, sickle cell. They don't really know what is sickle cell. So sickle cell starts when there is lack of oxygen in your blood cells. So what am I trying to say here? If your bone marrow produces the blood cells, okay, And then let's say you have threat of sickle cell, you are SS or AC, and you have sickle cell, your system doesn't allow oxygen to flow into your bone marrow. Most times, the bone marrow cannot produce the blood cells. And even if they produce the blood cells, it's going to be abnormal in shape, causing those excruciating pain, the agony, anemia, and everything that comes with that. The regular shape of a blood cell is supposed to be like a disc, it's circle in shape. But abnormal cells, that is the sickle cell, is like half circle. I don't know if you have seen a moon that is half, like, when the moon is half, like, how will I describe it? The moon is not full, it's like half circle. That is the shape of the sickle cell. And that is a big problem, seriously, in our society today, because we have to do our best to educate people on this in order to see if we can be able to eradicate the sickle cell in our society. Because sickle cell is always a lot of problem. They are in sickle cell individual, they go through a lot of pain. If you see them seriously, you'll be crying as an individual. If you see them in the hospital, every time they're in the hospital, every time they're getting blood transfusion, because they have a lot of anemia. And anemia is being caused because their bone marrow is not able to produce the blood cells. So they require a lot of blood transfusion in their system in order to survive. Okay, I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. A lot to learn there, a lot to learn. Thank you, Dr. Rita, for that contribution. Kendall, do you have anything to say to us what she just say?
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rita, for the information. That was really good uh, information, and you explained it really well so that everybody can understand it. I just want to go further to talk about the AS and AS. Like she said, when an AS marries an AS, that some of their kids can become can have sickle cell. And she was explaining that the shape of the blood is for a sickle cell carrier. Yes, so it's like half moon, like she said, and because it is not round and full, when it passes through the bone marrow or when it passes through the joints, it kind of clog up. It's like a clog pipe. It becomes like a clog pipe. That's what causes the pain. So we are focusing right now on why it's better for you to check your genotype before you get married, because you don't want a situation where you are AS and you get married to an AS person. So a lady that's AS get married to an AS guy, they can produce kids that have that. It's not only a burden to the parents, the child itself is stressed out. It is not easy. Now, children, and the statistic shows that sickle cell kids don't live too long. They don't live long enough, more than 40 or so. But sometimes you see some that are more than that. And in our community, the Black community, we have a lot of sickle cell carriers, just because parents were not aware about this. So we are trying to create the awareness so that people can become aware and try to prevent this. Getting married or checking your genotype or getting married to somebody that is not AS like you, it's best. It's going to stop it. One thing I want to drive is these sickle cell children or sickle cell adults are already among us. So sickle cell, it's not a death certificate. It's not a death certificate. It's an SS person can get married to an AA person, because a lot of the time we are not aware about that too. So if you are AA, you can get married to an SS person. The children are not going to be SS. So I want to put that forward so that people out there can know and understand that just because somebody's SS doesn't mean it's a death certificate written on the person. So we shouldn't be scared about and I guess that's another topic that you're gonna do, Rita, some other time. The stigma of sickle cell. Stigma of sickle cell on individuals. But right
Right.
now, yeah, but right now, when you want to get married, check your genotype. If you are AA, you can get married to an SS, you can get married to an AS. If you are AS, you can get married to an AA person. If you are SS, you can get married to an AA person. So let's be aware about that so that we can prevent increasing sickle cell individuals. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kendall. Great contribution. I'm gonna go to a pastor, Reverend Fidelia, to give us our own contribution and tell us what she thinks about that.
Mm.
Mama, you are mute, ma.
Thank you very much, Rita, Dr. Rita, and Keno. That was very informative because something I've come to realize is that most people don't get this information. Like even when with the modern world we have right now, do you know there's still some persons that do not even know their genotype. So like if I want to look at it from the church angle, I always advise people when they come for marriage, the first thing I ask, what is your genotype? And I really want to say this because sometimes you see people hearing, oh, it does not matter. You understand me? It matters because when the challenges, when they start coming, many people can really handle it. I don't know if you're getting me. So we we're advising that people should check before getting married because from the topic today is that know your genotype before marriage. Like for myself as a pastor, even though I'm a professional in the healthcare, I still tell people go check your genotype. Know your genotype. So if you people, maybe you're not compatible, it's better for you, to just end it because like I would not want to wed somebody that is both of them are AS. I don't know if you're getting me. Both of them are AS. I would not encourage that. So I think it's advisable, like Kenon said, if you are AA, you can marry SS. There's nothing wrong with that. Like when I wanted to get married, I never knew my genotype. I didn't even I just hear about genotype, but like that was like going to like 30 years ago. But like when I now went, the person I was engaged to said, you know what, I want to know your genotype. And that was when it dawned on me. So, like it never occurred to me to go and to know my genotype. And when I went to do my genotype, I discovered, oh, it was AA. So I knew, oh, do you know what? I can marry any person. You understand? So when you know your genotype, you can, if you are AA, you can marry SS, you can marry AS. But we don't advise AS and AS to get married. Even if your pastor tells you, do you know what? We can fake it. I have seen people, yes, I'm not disagreeing with that fact that, oh, if it works for you, you do it. But like most times when we advise people to fake it, when they have children, I've seen some, they have two children that are SS, then maybe one, and those two, it's giving them problems. So from my own perspective, I will advise, please don't go for AS if you are AS.
Mhm.
Don't go for ASO. That's my own point. Don't go for AS if you are AS. You understand me? Because many can't stand this challenge or the challenge of having two sick children at home or even having even one. One is a burden enough. Then I've seen some persons they even have three, and which is much. And sometimes these are things that can even lead to break up in marriage. So I want to advise that go for your genotype. Let's create this awareness. And like someone said, even though somebody is SS, you can still marry the person if you are AA. There's nothing wrong with that because you will end up having kids that are AS. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much, Ma, for that contribution. I would love to want to talk to my sister Ejiro to give her own contribution to how she felt about this. So, Sister Ejiro.
Thank you. Growing up, um, okay, I can't tell when I realized my genotype, but I just knew I always fell ill as a child, and I'll be in pains, and I can't play along with my younger ones. I can't eat the same thing they are eating when they are ready to don't eat, as I'm out of the picture until I'm fine. So, but by the time I got to realize I was sickle cell and what it meant by the people in the society now first, because it's the society that first gives you that tells you the definition. And they told me you don't live long. I was told sickle cell people don't live long. I was also told how they look. So it became a thing of worry initially as a young girl growing up. I was told they don't live beyond 20. That was when I first heard 20. And so growing up, I had to get to the, I had to, my dad was I would say my father was my first faith teacher. There's no time I talk about sickle cell that I will not talk about what God has done for me in the process. Yes, medicals have been there. They do their part, but it does not go without adding God to it. For me, I can't take God out of the equation. So my father had taught me how to be positive. Some people may say, okay, it's not a faith thing. So but I'll point to them and say, okay, if you're not seeing it as faith and to God, then look at it as being positive. As being positive. So I kept telling myself I wasn't going to die young. I had to keep praying. Then my dad made me understand something. Because it is actually devastating when you go out and you tell people you are sickle cell, and people down the first criticism I ever got was from church. Someone came to the house and said, "Why would you tell people you are sickle cell? Don't you know what sickle cell is? Why are you talking about it?" So my father made me understand that I could be who I want to be despite the genotype. It's not easy living with it at all because you are sick every now and then. You can't partake of a lot of things. In short, it relegates you even in the workplace. So it's been a thing of faith. Every step of the way for me has been faith, living with it. Even when I am sick, recovering is almost like faith because sometimes you are there and they're treating you and it's like you're not recovering. You're not getting your health back. And I'm wondering what's going on. And so I leave it with, I had to always give it to prayers. And I go back to my friends and tell them, please pray along with me for healing. Then my dad also made sure that healthy eating was one important thing. Eating healthy, your vegetables, taking water, fruits, and using the folic acid. Though I don't know, I naturally never like using drugs. I don't like using drugs because I get easily irritated by them. So it's a challenge on its own, but I don't look it. I have two children today, and a lot of it had to do with me staying positive. A lot of it had to do with me working on my mindset to survive. Because sometimes you're like, what if you die young? You know, the thought is that you can't take it away from the child because she knows that it is fine, it's not a death sentence, but anything can happen anytime. Because every time you are having a crisis, it's like you have met with death again. Every time you are at that place in pain, it's like you and death are face to face. It was never an easy thing growing up. It was never easy. It's still not easy, even as a working class person. For a long time, I had to do freelance, and I could not get those jobs and have to go back to full time. So I practically live on painkillers to make it to work and back just to make a living. It's not something anybody should actually wish for another person. So I think it is very, 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 the very is actually in bold caps. It's important that people should check their genotype before they marry. And you don't get carried away by love. Love would not cut it when the crisis starts with the child. And you know this funny thing where it is towards salary time, and that's when the child falls sick. So I've seen parents say their children are obanji. Yes, I had to intervene in a sickle cell child like that and help her get through to an NGO that will be paying her hospital bills because the father said she was obanji. She falls sick only when salary is coming. It happened to me when I was growing. I realized that it's only when the salary is coming that I'm sick. The crisis starts. They have to spend that money. For a father who does not have faith, for a father who does not share responsibility in what has happened, because for them, some people blame the children. Some know this is my fault. This is why this child is like this. I didn't do my assignment properly. Then you get the support, which I got. Some fathers don't even want to take responsibilities. So at that point, the child's abandoned, left to her own fate, left to her fate. She cannot treat herself. I haven't had the ones in university. She's late now. She's a blessed memory. The day I discovered she was sickle cell, she was hiding it. But I saw her eyes. She was jaundiced. So I said, "What's?" I just called her. I said, "You're not fine. What's wrong with you? Are you SS?" And the way she behaved like I've been exposed. I can't. And I told her, I said, "No, I am one." So I had to start encouraging her. And she told me something. She said, her dad was saying, "You know, I cannot spend money on you. You will soon die." Those kind of words. Finally, she graduated and she died. The things that they get to live with is not easy because if a parent does not see that they're responsible for what the child is facing, the child is left to deal with it all by themselves. But I was among the lucky ones to get the full love of my parents, support of my parents before they finally passed. They had taught me how to be strong. My mom will even make me sweep. I will sweep. I wash the cooker. I do the cleaning in the house on Saturdays. If you fall in the process, you're treated. If you are fine, that then I thought she was wicked, but believe me, today I appreciate it because it's made me stronger. I have my own home and I can tend to my children. If she was petting me and left me weak, then I would have been facing a different thing today. So I think there are different aspects to surviving it. Building your strengths, building your mental capacity for it, and a positive outlook at life. And then, of course, there were times I had to do follow up in the hospital because I noticed every month I fall sick. I go to the hospital monthly to check my genotype. I mean, to check my PCV to avoid being anemic and then getting to the point where they have to um, transfuse to avoid having to break down in a crisis. I have to check my white blood cells for infection, check for malaria to be sure I'm fine, to avoid it, to avoid getting to the point of falling ill. There are many challenges. Okay, even like today, I can't go to the hospital and you say you want to set a line. You won't find my vein. If you find the vein, it's going to collapse immediately. You put water, it's going to it's going to swell up. But the doctors in Nigeria, we're not saying they are not working, but I think the specialty in that line is not there. So there's no treatment recommended to even treat that. The challenges you get after taking so much painkillers. Nobody told me growing up that it could affect my organs. Until I had my second pregnancy and I was told that my liver was enlarged and there was bile in my urine and they had to start taking care of the whole process to protect the child. Had my second baby and I had to deal with a full year of in and out of the hospital in crisis. Unfortunately, I had contracted an infection because I used CS for my two children. I contracted infection in the process. I don't know from where, the theater to transfusion, I don't know where it came from. There was syphilis in my blood, but nobody was saying it. And I suffered for 1 year in and out, being transfused every 3 months. As in, by the 4th month, the blood is gone. I'm being transfused again for 1 full year and then enter the 2nd year. It wasn't funny. I had to start praying and asking God to help me. I didn't know where to face until I got to the hospital and the guy was new. The doctor was new. He just opened his hospital and he said do you want to take chances? That he was going to screen my blood. Before he screens the blood he wants to give to me. And then he saw the syphilis. There are a lot of carelessness that go into it. You come to the hospital and the first thing you are told is, you are sickle cell. That's where it's coming from. They're not checking for exactly what the issue is. A lot. So I have learned to be very, very fighting in the hospital. I go to the hospital, you tell me you want to do this. I'm challenging every step because I don't want my life to be taken in the process. I have a friend who died from malaria. It was sickle cell. She had malaria. She didn't go to the hospital. I know she has a careless habit of not wanting to go to the hospital, of not wanting to sleep in the hospital when you have a crisis. Many people are like that. They don't. The hospital is tiring. It's tiring. So she didn't want to go. But by the time she got there, it was late. They had to transfuse, and she went into a coma and she died. So I challenge every step, that which is one big word. That's it's too much work for one person. You're making sure the doctor is not making a mistake with your life. You're
Okay.
making sure your life, your health, your blood level is on the right place. By the grace of God, I run 31%, 31%, which they told me is not possible in Nigeria. They told me it's 25% for PCV. But God has been faithful. I don't know how. I only just trusted Him because I told Him, I said I can't. But once my PCV drops to 23, I'm having a crisis. But He's been there for me, and I just try to, like I said, positivity. It's not easy surviving with it. It's not
Right,
easy.
right, right,
Every birthday for me
right,
is a miracle. Thank you.
right, right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go to comments right now. We have Charles. Charles is saying hello, and Aminata Kamara is saying hello to us as well. And Kamara Abdul is saying hello, and Mamadou is saying greetings everyone. And JD Bangura Table Talk. We move global, and we're gonna go. Let me just say a little bit of my take on this topic. It's very important because when I wanted to get married, growing up from Sierra Leone and moving to the US at a very young age of my life, in the 20s, I didn't know what a genotype was, to be honest. I didn't know what that was because I've never heard about it before. I never think that even exists, because how I was raised, I've heard of a sickle cell because I have a childhood friend that we grew up with that have a sickle cell. So, but I didn't know that you have to check a genotype. You have to know before you get married to somebody what your blood group was. I didn't know. So when I wanted to get married to my husband and he said, "What's your genotype?" I said, "Genotype? What's that?" So it seems like it's joke, but it's not joke because from where I'm from, they say third world country, but Sierra Leone, we don't actually push that forward. It's not, and I know a lot of people like me are out there that are lost in that we don't even know what that is. So I get to find out, and when I've been to the hospital, my blood has been taken. I didn't know I supposed to pay attention to that particular stuff. So get to find out that okay, this is my blood type. So when my husband asked me, my husband now, it was my boyfriend then, and then I get to say, okay, I'm gonna go and check and see what my blood group was. So luckily I was able to do that and I find out. So I called Mama. At that time Mama was living in Nigeria. So I was really confused because I don't have any guidance to tell me what it was, what is the importance of it, and how it's going to affect you down the line. Like I believe it was Kendall or Rita said that love cannot help it. I've watched so many movies where people felt like they're in love and have all those kids with sickle cell patients, and then the end of the day, it's either the man leave or the wife leave because they felt like it's too much burden that they could not handle. Financially, they drain out and they see like, okay, why do I bring this obanji like piki we get debo like wait till we can say na salon. I've heard stories when one lady she actually said to me she has 6 kids and all the 6 kids were dead. Why did they die? She said that it was witchcraft, people kill her kids. And now that it becomes sense to me that was she AS, or did she have sickle cell? The husband has that as well, and this kid, they gave birth to these kids and these kids were not normal, so they finally died. And a lot of our people, we don't go and check ourselves to know what the situation is, and we end up coming into so many crises, and then we say the devil have done this or this had happened. So I would like to for Mr. Samuel Omotosho, if you're here, if you have anything to say regarding that before we start the discussion.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Rita, Sister Ijiro, Madam Kenu, Madam Fidelia. Thank you so much. I've really learned a lot tonight. Honestly, I really learned a lot. When Dr. Rita was actually explaining the medical terms and the types, I was very happy because those are part of what I intend to explain. So there is no need for tautology. But basically, while I was growing up, my my neighbor, who happened to be like a sister to me in the neighborhood, was a sickle cell patient. And while I was in this higher institution, I had a friend like that there was a time we were to have our IT. I told you I did microbiology, so I went to University College Hospital. Actually, that was the first teaching hospital in Nigeria. So I went there. I had my IT then at the blood bank, the hematology department. So the guy was there with me. Funnily enough, I didn't know this guy is a sickle cell individual. But we were together in the lab one day and we were working, and a senior colleague just came in, look at the guy, and said, "You see me?" I was just like, we were working together. What happened? And before you know it, after like a long discussion, the guy came back and the guy was just running series of tests. I didn't even know what happened. You won't understand that this guy is not even aware, but he has been falling sick. For I know him to like fall sick in class. We friends, we just go gather, assist, you understand? But we were always looking at this guy. There's something unusual. Of course, we too have malaria. Like, malaria in Africa is something that it's even rare to run a blood test and not have plasmodium and not have malaria parasite in your blood in Africa. You understand? But like our malaria is different from the malaria this guy experienced. So it was there I got to understand what the situation was. And sincerely, it was a real big time challenge. So what regarding the topic we are treating, having known the type of the genotype, the
Okay, he's having internet issues, so probably I'll have Dr. Rita to say something if you have Dr. Rita.
Can I say something real quick?
Go
I just
ahead.
want to, can you hear me? Okay, I just want
Yes.
to correct an impression. It's a sickle cell
is
kids.
somehow. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes.
Okay, great. So I said the place of education which we are doing right now. So the challenge I have concerning this is the issue of love and faith. Because for me, these are the two main barriers that we've seen so far, especially in Africa. Unless someone will tell you, okay, I know for those that actually check their genotype, like Mama said, well, I wanted to get married. Immediately, I get to know this is the woman, the lady I want to do the rest of my life with. The next thing was, what's your blood genotype? And she told me. And when I got to know my also, I am AA, she is AS. I was like, fine, I'm fine. Okay, but sometimes you get to know the genotype and you hear things like pastor said I can fake it, pastor said something, or love overrules everything. This is where I have challenge, and this is where I will say this categorically. Thank God for a minister of God that is here, that says she will never even attempt to join an AS and AS together in only matrimony. But some churches do that. I don't find reason for doing that, because this issue, when it starts, you're putting the child into a problem that the child didn't even plan for. Look at the experience of our dear sister Ejiro. You understand? I can't just imagine the pain. In fact, it got to a point I developed so much passion. I had to volunteer at an NGO in Nigeria here, in Oyo State. The day I went to the office, there were a lot of people coming for their medication, coming for their checkups, and I was happy to see some living fine. But when I saw some in crisis, I will not deceive you. I don't just want to cry so that they won't feel like is their problem this big, but it's not a sight to actually behold. So I'm saying this for everyone listening, for everyone watching us right now. I know an individual, we have like 5, 10 people that they can actually influence. Okay, this is a message that should go abroad. In fact, when your younger one or your elder one comes home with a lady, with a brother to get married, the next question is, okay, have you checked your genotype? Because apart from the fact that you will have to spend and face a lot of troubles. Okay, what about situation whereby some parents even give birth to the child and probably they were no more, or let's say the mother gave birth to the child, she died. So meaning that she will not even be there to witness what that child will be passing through, and it's a decision the mother made for the child, because it was never the decision of the child to come to live with SC or SS. Some two able guys made that decision for the child. So I will say this, it is not an experience anyone want to have, and that is why we are having this session to educate everyone. AS should never come to marry AS. Check your genotype, confirm this, and start to have children, because it is a very difficult situation to be, and this is something nobody wants anyone to be experienced. So that's what I have to say for now. So when questions come, we get to attend to them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Samuel, for your contribution. Dr. Rita, you were about to say something, and we got cut off. So if you want to continue, you can go ahead.
Okay, hi. Thanks everyone for your input, you know, on this topic. It's a very important topic to everybody, like I said before. So please, if our listeners or our viewers, if you do not understand anything that we said today, just know two things. Two things here, meaning AS should not marry AS, and XS should not in any way go near to another SS. Please, our AAs in the society today, like AA individual, a lot of people are AA. Me, I am AA, so I know that we have a lot of them out there. Please help us to marry anybody of your choice. You can marry SS, you can marry AC, you can marry AS. So this, will help us to eradicate this sickle cell thing going on in our society. So that's what I want to say. And I also want to input something. I know it might be a little bit off this topic, but actually it is very, very important too. Knowing your genotype is a very important thing to do before marriage, but you also need to know your blood groups and your antigens, because all of them works hand in hand. So coming to an individual, like I said before, we have the blood groups, we have the genotype, we have the antigens. So what is we first of all dealt with the genotype. So what is the antigen and what is your blood group? We have four types of blood groups. We have blood group A, we have the B, we have the AB, and we have the O. So when we say somebody has the blood group of A, it means that your blood cells contain an antigen that is called A antigen. So your blood group is now referred to as A blood group. So B is also the same. Your blood group has antigen B, but when your blood group does not have antigen A or B, that's where the blood group O comes into play. So O group is not in any form connected to any antigen A or B. Then AB is the one that has both the A and B antigens. So this is very, very important in also marriage. We need to know that. And why am I saying that? Because the antigen, we have the positive antigens and the negative antigens. And the positive one, like I am O positive, like I usually tell people, and I'm AA as well. So AA is my genotype, O is my blood group, and O positive, like the positive I put on top of it, is my blood type or the the antigen, right? Okay. So when antigen positive mixed with antigen negative is also a problem during pregnancy and childbirth. So people might think that it's only the SS thing. No, it's not only the SS thing. Now we have the antigens as well to worry about. So when somebody's positive antigen, please make sure that you check your antigen blood group before marriage, because if you're getting married to a negative antigen person, there is an injection that is called anti-resist D injection that is supposed to be given to the woman if she is negative of the negative antigen type, to prevent her from having miscarriages and even premature death of the baby. So those are the things that please we need to put into consideration before you get married, before you say, oh, this is the love of my life. I know love can actually, a lot of people bring a lot of emotions, and also the time spent in relationship also make us, sometimes we know the truth but we don't want to follow the truth. We just want to say, oh no, I love this person, I want to stay with this person, but we don't think ahead, because the kids we are bringing into this world, they will be the ones. They said there's an adage that goes like this: when two elephants are fighting, that is the grass that suffers. So when two lovers are enjoying, please remember that the kids are the ones to benefit or not to benefit from your enjoyment. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. Thank you so much. Alfajo he's saying thank you to Ross, and he's saying that he just watched a Nigerian movie 1 hour ago, and they were talking about this particular topic that we are discussing about, and he wants to thank us for being here. So I know we have a lot to say, about this, and especially for African communities, we don't talk about these particular issues because we felt like, okay, looking good in the outside and not looking good in the inside, and don't discuss issues because we felt like we're in love. I love this person, I don't want to. But love can be sorrow, love can be sad, because if you give birth to a child that it's a sickle cell or has medical issue, trust me, that love will go to like, okay, why did I even marry her? I should have married somebody else. And we don't want that. So it's better for us to start educating ourselves and knowing that. And Reverend Fidelia, I know in pretty much in Nigeria, they're very big on that. Even as pastors, I remember in your church back in Warri, people, we always said you have to get your genotype, you have to check yourself. And I'm happy that they are embracing that and they are encouraging people to do that before they get married. So I want you to tell us more as in the spiritual world, because I know sometimes there's misconception. People will say, "Oh, pastors are encouraging it," like Samuel was saying that some pastors, like they said, everybody will say what they want to say. We always have pastors and man of God and women of God, but you have to believe in what you believe in and know, like, okay, love cannot do this. I want to sit under a word of God, a woman of God, a man of God. So Pastor Reverend Fadili, I would love for you to say something a little bit about that.
Like I earlier said, I, I, I'm this kind of person that when it comes to some certain issues, I take my stand. I don't want to know what the other person is saying because I've seen where some pastors will say, no, it does not matter. Are you not a woman of faith? Are you not a man of faith? No, when it comes to some of these medical issues, we have to follow through because one, I've even seen pastors that are AS and the wife is AS also, and they got married and they have children that are FS. And you see the challenges they go through. I don't know if you're getting me, like what our sister that like what Ejiro said, what she went through. But we can understand from our parents' time that they didn't have the opportunity to know some of these things we know today. But because we have this knowledge today, we also teach this knowledge in church. And I still want to believe that if any person is coming right now, I tell my kids the same thing I tell my daughters. I say, you know what is genotype? That's the first because that's you won't waste your time dating somebody after 1 year. That's when you now discover that the person is AS and you are AS. Even though I know, okay, my husband is AA, I'm AA, but like what Dr. Richard said, I'm just hearing that one for the first time, antigen. I am not even aware of that. So now I'm going to make my research right now. I don't know if you're getting me to get more information because one, if you are maybe you are O positive, you're not supposed to marry somebody that is negative. I know I didn't because I was kind of busy. I went out just now to do something and coming. But like, what am I saying? I'm saying this, and if I have opportunity to speak to pastors, if I go to any church, I say this when during marriage classes. I always tell them, you know what is talk about some of these things. Let's not spiritualize physical things because that's the problem we Africans we have. And maybe when somebody has I've seen pastors, you understand, even educated pastors. Oh, this person is sick. There is a demon behind it. You've not even gone to check what the problem is. There are some problems that can be solved medically because God has given wisdom to our pastors. You understand me to create uh, medicine for situations like this. So, everyone that is listening to us, this is a topic. In fact, from what I just learned, and I said, you know what, I'm going to create a topic like this and I'm going to teach it in our Sunday service. I don't know if you're getting because we just come and we're just saying spiritual things, prosperity, healing, deliverance, these are some of the issues and the challenges some persons are going through. So I will still want to say that everyone that wants to get married, please get to know your genotype. It's not going to cost you much. Go to the hospital. Tell your doctor, can you run a test on me? I want to know my genotype and my antigen, like what I learned today now. You understand me? So when you have this, because there are some things that we can avoid. If we avoid it, we won't go through the challenges of like Israel was saying, I could feel for her. I could feel for the parents. You understand me? And thank God she's educated and she knows, how to monitor her treatment. What about people that are not even educated? People that are not even exposed to what you know. People just die that way. I don't know if you're getting me. So let every one of us, like my husband will always say, ask questions. Ask Mr. Google. What you don't know, just go make your research because the challenges we have in our Black community, people don't want to read, people don't want to make research. What people are after is just, let me make money and live my life. And you see people dying, people that what should not even kill you is killing you. You understand me? So please, for our listeners today, wherever you're listening from, I want to really implore every one of us to like pay attention to this. And for us as pastors, please, somebody should not come to church and is telling you that, oh, I want to get married, and the person is AS, and my fiance is AS, and you are encouraging them. For me, I would not, because I've had friends that were ASS. I have seen the challenges they went through. And something someone said, I'm just trying to remember what the person said. Let's not stigmatize people when we know that they are SS. This is not their fault. They are going through enough challenge. We should be there to encourage them. We should be there to, like, like what Dr. Rita said, encourage, okay, your SS, there's nothing wrong with it, but you know what? If you want to get married, don't allow, they said love is blind. These days, love is not blind. Love, you open your eyes to love right now so that you can avoid some of the problems that when love is blind, you start experiencing. So for our listeners, please, let's create this awareness. And Rita, it's a very powerful topic. I really want to appreciate you because, one, I was saying, oh, if I would know what to do, I would have even broadcasted because I didn't know the topic would be so deep like this and very educative. And for every one of us that said, I was even taking notes. You understand me? Because I know I'm at work, but like, let me take notes and go back to my notes and go read, and I really want to know about this, because these are some of the things that we don't talk about in our society. We don't talk about it, but these things, they are real and they are facing us today. So we can avoid it, and before we look, we are eradicating excess from our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Fidelia. Thank you so much, Mar. For those of our viewers that are watching us, if you love to join this broadcast anytime or any day, if you have any topic you want us to discuss about, you can reach us at PROIB blog, and you can also reach us at Born to blog. The link is down below, but because of it's a very interesting topic to discuss, so we have a lot to say. So, but next time, feel free to send any topic you want us to discuss. We discuss all topics that are matters, home, business, anything you want to discuss about. Just send us a message and we'll gladly discuss those topics. So I'll go to my sister Keno to say something about it. If you have something to say to us of what everyone have said.
Thank you so much, Reader. And thank you so much, everyone. I just want to emphasize on some key things as we round up. Sickle cell anemia, or those that are sickle cell carriers, they are not abnormal. They are normal human beings like you and me. The difference is just that their blood group or their genotype is different. AA, please feel free to marry a sickle cell person. This is the only way we can eradicate this sickle cell and not bring more generations that are going to have sickle cell. Dr. Rita spoke about antigens. I know she's trying to create the awareness. I want to emphasize on that again, because Nigeria or in Africa, our medical system, it's not at par. Program is what is given. So if you know you have a negative antigen, ROGAM is what is given. Just to create the awareness there, if you're a woman out there and you have a negative antigen, ask your doctor for the ROGAM injection so that he can give it to you at the appropriate time. It is given twice. When you are 28 weeks, right, Dr. Rita? And then when you deliver the baby. Because if you don't get it, your next child, it can cause a miscarriage. So you see people having miscarriage, they don't know. Another thing that causes miscarriage also is if you check your immune system, check your Dr. Rita, help me out. Your thyroid, those can also cause miscarriage too. So we're just creating the awareness. Ejiro, thank you so much for sharing your experience. I appreciate you. You are a very brave and strong woman.
Thank you.
Based on that, please
Thank you.
If you have a sickle cell person around you, family member, friends, anybody, do not stigmatize them. Later, I would love to discuss that topic more. Eradicating stigma that comes with sickle cell carriers. It is stress enough on the individual that has sickle cell. And for people to add more stress by stigmatizing them and then deviating themselves from them as if they carry AIDS, it's not proper. It's not proper. When it comes to the Christian side, I am a Christian. Yes. I'm not saying SS go and marry SS. No. But if you are SS and you're already married SS right now, I'm not telling you to leave your wife or leave your husband. But I know that with a lot of love, with a lot of support, removing stress is one thing that causes crisis a lot. Removing stress and hydrating yourself, that means drink a lot of water, will help to reduce your sickle cell crisis. In Nigeria, we don't have sickle cell clinics. Even if we have, I don't know how much we do and how much they do. In America, yeah, there are sickle cell clinics. They put the sickle cell patients in routines. They come in maybe every 2 weeks to get fluids just to hydrate them because that can help to flush out. Remember, I talked about the joints sickling and causing joint pains. It helps to flush the system and make them and reduces their crisis rate. So if we have sickle cell clinics in Nigeria, that will help. Thank you so much. Let me stop there. When you put
Thank
up
you, Candace. Thank,
eradicate the stigma, invite me. I will be right here. This is the topic that is very close to
all
my
right.
heart. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Well, thank you.
Rita,
Thank you, Kendall, for
Rita,
the
a quick,
contribution.
Rita,
Okay.
Rita, a quick one. If you go to the chat,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think somebody is trying to ask a question. So I don't know if the person, you can tell the person to just put up the question that he or she has, because I saw in the chat right now that somebody wants to ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, I was the person who wanted to ask the question.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
Okay, go
okay,
ahead.
and
Go ahead.
the question is actually going to the medical personnel here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've discovered here in Nigeria this error. I have two friends, personal friends, who when because usually when you get into the university, they run our genotype test for us. I have always known mine. So some people find that get to know their genotype right in school there. Then there's a friend, two friends said they already saw their genotype and they were told they were AAs. And these two people respectively were going to get married. And one later, just when he was about to get married, he discovered that he wasn't AA, he was AS. So God saved that one already first. He didn't have a sickle cell child. The other person had discovered she was AS. Now, meeting the man she wanted to marry, the church said they should run the test. They did the test, and he came back and it was showing AA. Now, this is no more the test in school. The test in school said he was AA. The test in the lab here in Lagos said he was AA, and they got married, had their first child, who they later discovered was SS. Now, I also met someone recently who was asking me about it too. She has had three children before, all were okay, AA. So she didn't know that um, the second person was actually not AA. Her husband, her spouse is AS. She is also AS. Because when they had the fourth child, they discovered that they were both AS because the baby came out and he was always had been anemic. By the time they got to the hospital, the doctor said they should run a test. They did the test and discovered the baby was SS. And they ran the test for the parents again and they discovered they were AS. So how does this labs make this major error? Because this has become, if three people can have this error, means we have many other people going through the same error, means it will be difficult to eradicate sickle cell from the society. So what is the problem in the lab?
If I can talk about that, the Nigerian
Go ahead.
system, the Nigeria, it's, I know you're in Nigeria, Israel. I am from Nigeria too. The Nigerian system, they need a overhauling. These people make enormous error every time. So all these labs you see, people just set up stuff. We don't have proper bodies that kind of look over them and check them. We don't have check system. So people can just set up lab and even don't even run anything, just come out with results and give to people and go. Things happen like that. So we can't really help it. That has to come with the government and checking the system and setting up bodies that will actually check these people and make sure they are doing the right thing that they ought to do. That is just it. It is
Yeah,
sad.
thank you, Keno. Yeah, thank you,
Okay,
Keno.
and sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Another thing
Rita.
I want to say is this. Some of the labs in Nigeria, I found out that a lot of them don't have license. Seriously, that's why I like America. Before you do anything here, even as a security guard, you must have a license to do that. Before you do your hair salon, anything you say you're doing, seriously, you are being required to get a license under that. So I will encourage people not to go to anyhow labs to do their test, or even if you go there and do it, please try and do a confirmatory test in one of the, maybe government hospitals or anything like that. So that's my own, take on that. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Thank you for great contribution, and I've learned a lot today, and I hope my people have learned a lot. Because in Sierra Leone, these are topics that no one talk about, or they are shy to talk about, like the shaming, like, oh, this person has sickle cell, and you should not go and check yourself, or you don't want to talk about it, like Sister Ijiro said that she didn't know someone that had that sickle cell thing, but through what they were going through, she were able to know, like, okay, you can talk to me. And as Africans, we have this whole thing, putting people down, feel like if I tell you something, you are going to say, okay, this person have HIV, this person have sickle cell. If someone tell you something, please keep that secret. It's confidential. Don't go and start laughing at them and making them feeling bad about themselves, because to be honest, they're feeling bad already. So I just want to thank PROIB blog, and I want to thank Bantu blog again for having us here. I know most of the times these are very educational programs that we bring to you every Sunday. Plan it, get all those beautiful guests to be here with us. So if you have anything you want us to discuss, like I said before, contact PRO blog and send your message there, or any topic you want us to discuss. And if you have something else you want us to talk, you can contact Bonto blog as well. So I want to thank all this my beautiful guests for being here with us today and sharing this with us. For me salon people them, I want for tell una, if you know say you are married to somebody, you know say you don't know wetin a genotype, or you don't know wetin dey happen, before you go to that marriage day, before that boy tell you say you want you, or that woman tell you say you self you don't see say that woman that you want am, go check yourself, please. Go make sure say everything fine with you, everything they work at the body king before you get into any serious relationship. So please, we are about to draw the curtain, and we want for tell una all thank you for all of una wey una read una comment them. We want for tell una all thank you, because not all tell them we can media. It's all about this person is questioning this person say this, she say he say, and all that. As Africans, we are one people, we share the same culture, it might be a different language, but let's just try to get along and love each other. Life is very, very short. The more you love yourself, love your sister, love your brother, love each and everyone among you, that will be a better place. In Africa, we shall unite and we shall grow to love each other. So I will ask my viewers to say their final bye. I know we've been here for long. I will go with Reverend Fedelia from Canada. If you want to say bye bye to Famble, then when they watch we. Keno, do you want to say bye, and any final message you have to say to our viewers?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. Any final message to our viewers?
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Sickle cell people are not abnormal. They are normal people. They are like you and me. Go for it, AA people. Let's take this beast down. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our sister Ejiro joining us from Nigeria, a sickle cell patient, and she has shared a lot. So I would love for her to give a final message to all our viewers today.
It's been a nice one here. My word to everyone is check your genotype. Love does not cut the crisis. Love does not cut the cost of the drugs that you're going to use in spending on the child. Let's check the genotype, and let's also save the child from stress, from getting frustrated with life also. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Doc. Dr. Rita, do you have any final message that you want to give our viewers?
Okay, hi, our viewers. My final message is still the same thing, still remain the same thing. Please make sure you check your blood group, you check your genotype, you check your antigen before you get involved in any sort of relationship or before you start bringing kids to this world. Please encourage each and every one of your family members, your friends, your relatives, wherever you meet people that says, "Oh, I have somebody or I found someone that I'm getting married to." Remind them to please do the right thing at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. Alan, we see you message. You saying thank you all, great speakers for all the wonderful tips. We want to thank you as well for now. We're about to draw the curtain. And happy Sunday. I want to thank PRO Blog for bringing this program with us today. And I want to thank Bontu Blog for bringing this all for all our back end. Bear with us. You know, we're all joining from different part of the world. So, but what is important is the message and what we have to say and the lives that we have to say. So we want to thank you. And to all my beautiful guests and wonderful women, I just want to say thank you for joining us today and making this great conversation. So thank you. For now, we will have to say bye and we're about to draw the curtain. Till next time we'll meet again, we want to say bye and thank you for joining Table Talk with Rita Felleh Arah. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Yeah.